It's mid-February and it's absolutely freezing. It's been probably the wettest month. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It feels like forever since the start of the year that we've ever known. It's just rain, 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 more rain. And the time on the plot is fleeting. It's still, the nights are still long and the days are short, although they are drawing out now. And in 4 weeks' time, possibly mid-March, it will be springtime, kind of springtime. As you may have seen from our last video, we are busy attempting to prepare the ground and to prepare the plot for our 2026 growing season. Yeah, over 30 years I think we've had that plot, and we're still growing on it. We're attached to the land, aren't we? So today we're at the brink of what appears to be an annual event. It's something that happens every year without fail, is that we start potting up our toms. So we're getting our toms out today. Myself and Catherine, we're going to get our toms out for you to see. You can watch that process. And we've been growing tomatoes virtually every year that we've had the plot. It's one of the great joys of growing stuff. Last year was a magnificent year for growing potatoes as well, but for growing tomatoes. Potatoes and tomatoes are related in some respects as well, apparently. So it was a magnificent year. Bumper harvests, no sign of blight at all, because it was so hot and dry and in perfect conditions for growing tomatoes. Who knows what this year is going to bring? We don't know, but we prepare anyway, and if we get blight, we get blight, and that's the way it is. But so today we've been growing them in the aero garden, which is a kind of hydroponic system that we've got. We've got 2 aero gardens in the kitchen, and we sowed some just after Christmas. It was late last year. It's about probably the middle of December. Well, they're ready to come up now, to come out and to be potted on. So we're going to do that today. And also got a few things for the plot that we're going to do a little unboxing and see what we've got for this coming season. So you can come and have a look if you like. Yeah, why don't you just come and watch that process then? We'll see in a minute. So this is our hydroponic gardening system. And hydroponics basically means that we grow all our stuff without the use of soil. So we have a reservoir down here that's full of water with nutrients in. And there are various nutrients that we use. These are the nutrients that you get with the garden itself. Plant food. And by I do. A and B, you mix the two together and then you add it to the well here. And that's where you fill. That's like a reservoir. And it contains everything the plant needs to get to this height using these hydroponic grow lights here. It's also got a fan in here that you can just hear. It's just gently, I'll turn it on and off. There you can see. That fan just sort of like gives it a gentle movement of air around the plant itself. So that's how they're grown, basically. And these here are Tigerella. They're vastly outgrowing the aero garden now, so they need to be repotted, potted up, conventionally potted up. These here, that's a mustard green, and we've got some lettuce here that we're just cut and come again. So we've been using them in salads and stuff like that, but these need to come out now. So this is one of two aero gardens we've got. We've got the other one, which I'll show you shortly. A bit of kitchen roll, and we're going to take these out. This variety is Tigerella, which proved really successful, and this is the first time I've seen this. This is the root system, as you can see when you take them out. Now, to pot them up, I need to remove this plastic basket thing here and then prepare them in some soil. So I'll just place these down here for the time being. It's a fascinating thing to grow things like this. Don't know how you grow your tomatoes. Maybe you could leave a comment at the bottom. I'll show you how to pot these up shortly. So when I take these out, I will be replacing them with other things that we're going to be growing this year. But it's an ideal way to start your plants off hydroponically. So we will have other plants in here that we're going to, maybe some cucumber or something else that can go in to replace them, basically. These will carry on growing and we'll be using them. You can see we've been cutting them and stuff. And some tomatoes, that's a tomato plant there, and we've got the lettuce, which is just here, which you can just see. So yeah, that's that lot. So I'm going to move them over to the other part of the kitchen now. There we go. Another bit of tissue paper, because in here, this is our aero garden harvest, and we've got some tomatoes growing in here, but they're all growing at different times. So some of them are the same as these at the front here, and they need to come out. The others can stay in for a bit longer because they're very much shorter than that. So I'm just going to take these out here at the front. Yeah, so let's get these potted up then. So for this demo, I'm using some Grow More multi-purpose compost, which you can get from various garden centres and online as well. So I need to pick some pots now that are deep enough. Now I've got these pots, but they're a bit shallow. I might have to use them, I'm not sure. Let's have a look here. They're a bit deeper. I may actually use these pots to pot them up on. Just because they're slightly deeper, and I think I need a deeper pot to grow them on. They don't have to be too much bigger than that, but they need to be probably as deep. For the first potting up of the tomatoes. So I've got a bucket. These are old flower buckets that we put some holes in, and eventually this is what we use to plant the tomatoes up into their final position, and that's probably about the size of pot that you need for a fully grown tomato plant. And they've done very well in these over the years, so just keep using them. But for the time being, I'm going to use this old flower thing. You get them at you know, people who when they sell flowers, they don't have any holes in. They're used to hold water, and you have the flowers sticking out, you know, when you go around the supermarkets or the florists or something like that. And usually you find them chucking them out by the dozen, and I think that's where we pick these up from. And they're useful, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decant some of that into there and then start potting up our newly born tomatoes. So here we go. The problem with this time of year is that the light goes really quickly. Have you noticed that? When it starts going dusk, which it's going now, it's about 5 o'clock, the light starts going. So you haven't got much time to do things during the day, especially if you've got a busy lifestyle or you're working. You don't get much time. So what you'll notice about this is that it's a multi-purpose compost. When they send it to you, or when you pick it up, it's quite dry. So it's that's to save money in transportation, etc, etc, etc. So you have to make sure that when you water them, that you give them a good watering. We can't plant the tomatoes out, by the way. It's February and they wouldn't last 5 minutes outside the freezing conditions. So they will spend at least another month and a half maturing inside. We're not going to be planting these out today. So this is just the potting on stage to free up the aero garden and the hydroponics and get them used to soil. They grow on really astonishingly easy. Tomatoes, they're easy to grow once you get them started. The hard thing is getting them started, getting the right conditions and getting them warm enough to germinate. But once you get them to that stage, they just take on a life of their own. So that's our compost. That should do the plants we've got there. And so let's get potting up. So now we're set up. I'll just put some of these old magazines down. So we can get started. And here's just give them a wash. There's our pots. And here's our soil. And there's our tomatoes. So, these are the ones without the plastic cradles, by the way. They've got these sponge bits on here, which you can see that you leave them on, and obviously leaving the roots intact. Just wrap them in as they go in. Now you'll notice also, because they've been going on for a while, you've got these little side shoots here. Can you see them? Them little shoots there and there. They really need to come off. I think they're called suckers, are they? Or something like that. You get them in between the leaf and the main stem. You'll always get them in between the leaf and the main stem. Also, these bottom leaves we're going to take off, because we're actually going to plant them deeper than they are there. If you look at the pot, you will see we're going to actually plant these so that that bit is right at the bottom of the pot, and you cover this area here. All this area here will promote more root growth. The roots will come out the side of the stem. They're very easily rooted tomatoes, and yeah, you don't have to encourage them, they'll just do it naturally. They're very prolific in that respect. So we're going to plant them a bit deeper. So let's fill this, well, let's get some soil in here. So I'm going to put that in there, just a little layer of soil. It's easier to do with the roots, and then just twirl the roots in, and then just hold that in the middle while we fill around it. You don't have to use hydroponics, by the way, to grow tomatoes. It's just a way that we've developed it over the years, because we found that they grow really strong without soil in these gardens. That you can pick them up, these aero gardens, these hydroponic grow systems. And we always use them, basically. We use them for cut again vegetables in the winter when we're not growing much, but they're great for growing crops and potting them on to for the allotment. So you can grow lots of things in them, as long as they're not root vegetables, because obviously root vegetables you know, they put on growth on the roots, so you wouldn't have much chance of getting them out of the aero garden if you tried to grow them. So don't grow root vegetables. So there you go. That's the first one. Tagliatelle. Is that how you pronounce it? So there's our first potted on tomato. That needs watering and kept inside to mature a bit longer. At least another 6 weeks. It won't be at least till the middle of April. Yeah, March is a bit too cold for them, so probably the middle of April, possibly May, by the time you start planting them out. So remember, you've got to have the space to store them while you're doing that. They're like a nice bright sunny position, so a little porch, a little veranda that gets the full sun and is kept warm. They will not survive at freezing temperatures. They will wilt and die. So It's important to know. So that's our first one. They're all the same variety, these, by the way. They're all the same variety. Now with these ones, you will notice that they've got this little plastic cradle on here. So really that needs to come off, because once that will restrict the roots, the root system. So we need to take that off carefully, and you can't avoid at times taking it off of disturbing some of the roots. Some may break off, like a few there, see? But as long as you've got the majority of the root system intact, that's fine. And as I did with the last one, just break off the bottom leaves and any in between. They're too small at the moment, but yeah, that's a nice specimen. I usually put the leaves back into the compost and just mix it in, because that will just decay and add nutrients. So another pot. Fill it up. Just let me put that other light on so you can see. It's a better light, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, just put a little bit in there, and again put that in, countersunk so it's a bit deeper, and just fill around it. Yeah, if you've got any tips for growing tomatoes, by the way, you may have a particular way of doing it. It may not be the same as what we do it here. There's no right and wrong way to do these things, you know. You find out yourself the best ways to plant things up, and, you know, through experience, it tells you what you need to do. We don't like preaching to people here at Merseybeat Gardening. We're not gurus. You know, the way we do things is the way we do things. You might do it totally different, which is fine. If it works, and that's it. That's as simple as it gets, gardening. Remember, gardeners and people who produce food professionally, farmers and stuff like that, have been doing it for thousands and thousands of years, and they've found their own ways of doing it. And you can go from one person to the next and they will do it in a totally different way. But the thing they have in common is that whatever the way they've done it, and however they've done it in the past, has worked. And that's the main thing, isn't it? Is that what you're doing is working in some respect. So that's the one with the cradle. What I'll do now is I'll put the camera on time lapse, so you can basically witness the entire procedure. Okay, there we have it. We have 8 freshly potted up tomato plants. I'll find a place in the patio for this, to put these. The most important thing to do now they're potted up is to water them well with lukewarm, tepid tap water. Basically, I'm going to put them in the sink and do that. And then, yeah, just pop in a little marker to say what they are, just to remind you, not to, well, you know the toms, but you need the variety, don't you? And also to pinch out these here, which are, I'll just show you these little suckers that they grow in between your main leaves and the stems. These, just pop them out, and you can put them in the compost. Otherwise they become scraggly and unwieldy, basically. These are a cordon type of tomatoes. They're not bush varieties. So as a cordon type, you need them to grow up a single stem, and then that will increase your crop and yield, and make sure that they will yield sooner rather than later, because tomatoes in Britain, in the UK, only have a limited growing season. On the continent, they can literally grow all the year round. So that's it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, then please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and make a comment. Support us on your social media feed, share the video basically, and anything else you have to do by law, apparently, you have to do on YouTube. We're getting a great response to our recent videos, where we've been showing virtually no dialogue, basically, just showing the plots and having a walk around and stuff like that. Just a different approach to gardening, I suppose. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again, and Catherine will see you again in a future vlog. Bye for now.